The multiverse doesn't care about your plans. Logan had walked into the dive bar in Madripoor looking for information and a drink in that order. What he got was 6 mercenaries with bad attitudes and worse aim. The fight lasted 30 seconds, broken bottles, shattered teeth, and one idiot who thought a knife would matter against adamantium bones. Logan was wiping blood off his knuckles when the air behind the bar started to shimmer like heat off desert asphalt. "The hell?" he muttered, his enhanced senses screaming warnings a split second before reality tore open. The portal erupted in a cascade of green energy that smelled like ozone and something older, sulfur maybe, or burning incense from some temple he'd never visited. The remaining conscious mercenary took one look at the swirling vortex and ran. Smart man. Logan wasn't smart. He was curious and stubborn. The pull hit him like a magnetic freight train. His claws shot out instinctively, snicked, 12 inches of adamantium gleaming in the sickly green light. He tried to anchor himself to the bar, but the wood splintered like kindling under his grip. The bottles exploded. The floor cracked, and then he was falling through a tunnel of screaming energy that felt like it was turning him inside out. Time stopped meaning anything. He saw flashes, other worlds, other battles, faces he didn't recognize locked in combat that looked like it came from a fever dream. A man with a spear made of ice. A woman with blades that looked grafted to her arms. A skull-faced demon wreathed in hellfire. And everywhere that smell, blood and sand and something ancient. Then he hit ground, hard. Logan rolled with the impact, coming up in a crouch with his claws extended, every sense firing. He was in some kind of courtyard, stone floors covered in sand, torches burning despite no visible source of fuel. The architecture looked Asian, maybe Chinese, but wrong. Too angular, too deliberately menacing. Statues of warriors lined the walls, their stone faces twisted in expressions of agony or rage. The sky above was green. Not sunset green or aurora green. Sickly, unnatural green, like the whole atmosphere was poisoned. "Where the hell am I?" Logan growled, retracting his claws slowly. The wounds in his knuckles were already healing, skin knitting back together in seconds. A voice answered from the shadows, cultured and cold. "You are in Outworld, warrior, and you have arrived at a most fortuitous time." A figure stepped into the torchlight, tall, gaunt, dressed in robes that seemed to shift colors in the firelight. His face was ageless and hungry, eyes that had seen too many lifetimes and wanted more. He moved with the deliberate grace of a predator who'd never known fear. "The name's Shang Tsung," the man said, studying Logan like a collector examining a rare specimen. "And you, my feral friend, are about to become very valuable." Logan's claws came out again. "I ain't your friend, bub, and I ain't staying." Shang Tsung smiled. It wasn't a friendly expression. "Oh, but you are. You see, Mortal Kombat begins in 3 days, and I've just found myself a new champion." The sorcerer's hands moved in patterns that made Logan's eyes hurt to follow. The air thickened, shapes began to form in the shadows, warriors or things that had been warriors once. Their eyes glowed with unnatural light. Logan's healing factor was already working overtime, fighting off whatever mystical poison was in the air. He'd faced magic before, hated it every time. Give him a straight fight any day over this reality-bending nonsense. "I don't do tournaments," Logan snarled. "Now send me back, or I'm gonna decorate these walls with you." "Such spirit," Shang Tsung laughed, the sound echoing off stone. "But you misunderstand your situation. You cannot leave Outworld without my permission. The barriers between realms are absolute. Unless, of course, you participate in the tournament. Winners get wishes granted, warrior, including passage home." The Shadow Warriors moved closer, forming a circle. Logan counted 12, maybe 15. His senses were going haywire in this place. Too many unfamiliar smells, sounds that shouldn't exist. A pressure in the air that felt like reality itself was thinner here. "You got 3 seconds to back off," Logan warned. "Then I start cutting." "Then cut," Shang Tsung replied. "Show me what makes you worthy of Mortal Kombat." The Shadow Warriors attacked. Logan moved on pure instinct. The first one came high. He ducked under the strike and drove his claws through its chest. The thing dissolved into smoke. The second and third attacked together. He caught one's weapon on his adamantium bones, felt the impact jar his arms, then gutted it while kicking the other backward into a stone pillar hard enough to crack the masonry. They kept coming. Logan fought like he'd been born to it, centuries of combat experience against opponents that felt like fighting smoke and nightmares. His claws found throats, hearts, anything vital. But some of them regenerated. Others exploded into insects or bats when struck. Magic. He really hated magic. One of them got through his guard, a blade scoring across his ribs. The wound burned, not normal pain, something mystical that his healing factor struggled against. Logan roared, grabbed the attacker by the throat, and drove it face first into the ground with enough force to crater the stone. When he looked up, breathing hard, the remaining Shadow Warriors had frozen in place. Shang Tsung was applauding slowly, that predatory smile wider. "Magnificent," the sorcerer purred. "That healing ability, those metal claws. You're not from any realm I know. What are you?" "Pissed off," Logan snapped. Blood dripped from a dozen wounds that were already closing. "And done with your games?" "The games haven't even begun." Shang Tsung gestured, and the Shadow Warriors dissolved into mist. "But I've seen enough. You'll fight in Mortal Kombat, warrior, for Outworld under my command. Refuse and you'll spend eternity as one of my experiments in the flesh pits. Your healing ability would make that particularly educational." Logan's claws extended again. "Try it." Before either could move, thunder rolled across the green sky. Actual thunder despite no visible clouds. The air pressure changed and Logan's senses caught something new. Ozone again, but different. Cleaner. The smell of rain and electricity. Lightning struck the center of the courtyard in a blinding flash. When Logan's vision cleared, a new figure stood between him and Shang Tsung. Tall, wearing white robes and a conical hat, with eyes that glowed with barely contained power. He radiated authority, the kind you couldn't fake, the kind that came from being genuinely dangerous. "Shang Tsung," the newcomer said, his voice carrying the rumble of distant storms. "Your treachery knows no bounds. This warrior does not belong to Outworld." The sorcerer's smile never wavered. "Lord Raiden, how predictable. But the stranger arrived in my domain. He's mine by right." "He arrived by your sorcery, you mean?" Raiden's eyes shifted to Logan. "I am Raiden, god of thunder and protector of Earthrealm. What is your name, warrior?" Logan kept his claws out, not trusting either of them. "Logan, and I don't need protecting." "Perhaps not," Raiden acknowledged, "but you need answers and escape." Shang Tsung's fortress materialized around them like a nightmare-given architecture. One moment, open courtyard. The next, they were inside a throne room carved from obsidian and bone, torches casting dancing shadows on walls decorated with weapons from 1,000 conquered worlds. Logan's senses cataloged every detail, 12 exits, at least 30 guards in the shadows, and the overwhelming stench of old death. "You overstep your authority, Raiden," Shang Tsung said, settling onto a throne that looked like it was made from vertebrae. The stranger came through a portal opened by Outworld sorcery that makes him a contestant by default. opened during an illegal incursion into Earthrealm, Raiden countered. The Thunder God's hands crackled with electricity. Your spies were in Madripoor, seeking souls to steal. This warrior was collateral damage, Logan processed that. You saying you opened a portal in my bar? Not intentionally, Shang Tsung admitted with theatrical sympathy. My associates were harvesting warriors when something went wrong. You happened to be in the vicinity. Bad luck. The smile said he didn't believe in luck. But now you're here, and under tournament law, I have every right to recruit you. I already told you where you can shove your tournament, Logan growled. Then you'll die here, Shang Tsung replied simply. Outworld's atmosphere is toxic to mortals who don't acclimate. Give it 6 hours, maybe 8 with your healing ability. Your lungs will crystallize. Your blood will thicken to sludge. Even your impressive regeneration can't save you from environmental incompatibility. Logan felt it then, the burning in his chest, subtle but growing. The air tasted wrong, felt wrong going down. His healing factor was already working overtime, just keeping him functional. Damn it. There is another option, Raiden said carefully. Fight for Earthrealm in the tournament. I can protect you from Outworld's effects, and when Mortal Kombat concludes, I will personally ensure your return home. Earthrealm? Logan tested the word. That where I'm from? Yes. Your realm of origin. Earth, as you call it. One of many realms connected by the fabric of reality. Raiden gestured, and images appeared in the air. Different worlds, different skies. Outworld seeks to conquer Earthrealm. They have won 9 consecutive Mortal Kombat tournaments. One more victory, and Earthrealm falls under Outworld's rule. We desperately need champions. Logan watched the images, cities burning, people screaming, warriors fighting with powers that made the X-Men look tame. So it's a war. It's the war, Raiden corrected. The only war that matters. Mortal Kombat is the ancient compact between realms. Champions fight in single combat. The winning realm gains power, territory, the right to merge with the losing realm. It prevents all-out warfare while still allowing conquest. Sounds like a goddamn cosmic cage match, Logan muttered. An apt comparison, Shang Tsung interjected, and one you cannot escape. So choose, Logan. Fight for Earthrealm under Raiden's banner, or fight for Outworld under mine. Either way, you fight. The only question is which side deserves your claws. Logan hated being backed into corners, made him want to fight his way out through the nearest wall, consequences be damned. But he'd been around long enough to recognize when he was outmatched. Magic. Gods. Interdimensional bullshit. This wasn't his wheelhouse. What's in it for me? He asked Raiden. Besides going home. A chance to save billions of lives, Raiden replied. Earthrealm's 6 billion souls versus Outworld's endless hunger for conquest. If we lose, your world becomes a feeding ground for Shao Kahn's armies. I don't do hero work, Logan said flatly. Not anymore. I'm not asking you to be a hero, I'm asking you to fight. Which, unless I'm mistaken, is what you do best. Fair point. Logan had been fighting for as long as he could remember. Wars. Wars between wars. Barroom brawls when the wars ended. It was what he knew. What he was good at. Maybe the only thing he was good at. And if I fight for Outworld, he asked Shang Tsung, just to hear the pitch. The sorcerer's eyes gleamed. Power. Immortality beyond your wildest dreams. Not just healing, but true agelessness. Access to magics that could enhance those claws, make you stronger than you've ever imagined. And when we conquer Earthrealm, you'll have your pick of spoils. Wealth, territory, anything you desire. Except freedom, Raiden said quietly. Shang Tsung's champions are slaves. He controls them through sorcery, drains their souls when they're no longer useful. Ask Scorpion, ask any specter in the Nether Realm. Details, Shang Tsung waved dismissively. Power requires sacrifice, Thunder God. Logan understands that. I can smell the metal in his bones. Someone modified him, weaponized him. He knows what it means to be a tool. Logan's claws extended involuntarily. Memories surged. The Weapon X facility, the experiments, the screaming as they flooded his skeleton with molten adamantium. Don't, he warned, his voice dropping to a growl. Don't pretend you know me. But I do know you, Shang Tsung pressed. You're a survivor, a killer. You've done terrible things to stay alive. Why pretend to be noble now? Earthrealm will never truly accept you. You're too violent, too savage. But Outworld, we celebrate warriors like you. We make them legends. For a moment, Logan considered it. The sorcerer wasn't entirely wrong. He'd never fit in with the X-Men's Boy Scout routine, never believed in Xavier's dream the way Scott and June did. He was always the outsider, the weapon they pointed at problems too dirty for the others. But then he thought about what Outworld conquering Earth would mean. Sentinels were bad enough. Apocalypse was a nightmare, but an entire dimension of conquerors with magic powers. Nothing good came from that kind of tyranny. Raiden, Logan said finally, if I fight for you, I fight my way. No leash, no greater good speeches. I do this my way, and when it's done, you send me home. No questions asked. Agreed, Raiden said immediately. Your methods are your own. I ask only that you fight. Then I'm in. Logan turned to Shang Tsung. Tell Shao Kahn his champion recruitment ain't going so well. The sorcerer's expression darkened. You're making a grave mistake, Logan. Earthrealm is weak. Raiden's champions are naive fools who believe honor matters in combat. They'll die. And you'll die with them. I've died before, Logan said. Didn't take. Shang Tsung rose from his throne, and the temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees. Then we'll meet in the arena, Wolverine, and I'll show you what death really means in Outworld. Raiden's hand touched Logan's shoulder, and lightning engulfed them both. The throne room vanished in a flash of white light. They materialized in a temple courtyard that couldn't have been more different from Shang Tsung's fortress. Open air, cherry blossoms, mountains in the distance under a normal blue sky. The smell of incense and training sweat. The sound of warriors sparring, flesh hitting flesh, controlled breathing. Welcome to the Wushu Academy, Raiden said, home of Earthrealm's champions. Here, you'll train for the tournament and meet those who fight beside you. Logan retracted his claws, surveying the temple. It looked peaceful, almost serene. Exactly the kind of place he'd never belonged. A figure approached from the main building, young, maybe mid-20s, dressed in traditional kung fu attire. He moved like water, like someone who'd spent their entire life perfecting the art of controlled violence. His headband had a red dragon emblazoned on it. Master Raiden, the young man said, bowing respectfully. Then his eyes found Logan. Who is this? Liu Kang, this is Logan. He'll be fighting with us in Mortal Kombat. Liu Kang's expression was carefully neutral, but Logan caught the skepticism. Another tournament fighter? With respect, Master, the tournament begins in 3 days. There's no time to assess his skills, his discipline. I can hear you, kid, Logan interrupted. And I don't need assessment. I've been fighting since before your grandparents were born. Fighting in bars, perhaps, Liu Kang replied evenly. Mortal Kombat is different. It requires honor, discipline, mental clarity. It requires winning, Logan cut him off. Everything else is window dressing. Liu Kang's jaw tightened. spoken like someone who doesn't understand what's at stake. I understand just fine. Lose the tournament, your world gets conquered. Pretty straightforward. Then you understand nothing, Liu Kang said, his calm cracking slightly. Mortal Kombat isn't just about victory. It's about proving Earthrealm's worth, demonstrating that we deserve to remain free. Our champions represent everything we believe in. Honor, justice. The strength to fight without losing our humanity. Logan almost laughed. Kid, I lost my humanity a long time ago, but I can still crack skulls. That's gonna be a problem. The tension thickened. Liu Kang looked ready to say something harsh when Raiden intervened. Enough. Logan, Liu Kang is Earthrealm's greatest champion. He has won more combat matches than any other fighter. You would be wise to respect his experience. Sure, Logan said, not meaning it. And he'd be wise to remember I didn't ask to be here. Neither did any of us, Liu Kang shot back. But we fight anyway, because it's right. They stood there, locked in a silent standoff. Logan could smell Liu Kang's irritation, the younger man's certainty that this scruffy outsider was a liability. Fine, he dealt with self-righteous warriors before. This kid would learn. Show Logan to the barracks, Raiden ordered. He'll need rest before training begins tomorrow. As you command, Liu Kang said stiffly. He turned to Logan. This way. As they walked through the temple, Logan caught glimpses of other fighters. A woman with steel fans practicing kata with lethal precision. A man in military gear checking weapons that looked distinctly non-mystical. Guns, grenades, C4. A warrior in yellow and black who moved so fast he left after images. Who are they? Logan asked. Princess Kitana of Edenia, currently allied with Earthrealm, Major Jackson Briggs of Earthrealm Special Forces, and Scorpion, a specter bound by vengeance. Liu Kang's voice was clipped, professional. We have 11 confirmed champions for the tournament. You make 12. How many does Outworld have? Unknown. Shang Tsung keeps his roster secret until the opening ceremony, but expect Baraka's Tarkatan horde, Shao Kahn's personal guard, and whatever horrors the sorcerer has resurrected from the nether realm. They reached the barracks, simple stone rooms with sleeping mats, weapon racks, and windows overlooking the training grounds. You'll be tested tomorrow, Liu Kang said. If you can't keep up with our training regimen, Raiden may reconsider your participation. I'll manage, Logan said dryly. Liu Kang studied him for a long moment. Why did you agree to fight? Raiden said you were pulled here by accident. You have no stake in this. Logan thought about lying, giving some noble answer about protecting innocent lives. But hell with it. Because I'm stuck here until the tournament's over, might as well make myself useful. And because I really don't like being told I can't do something. So you fight for pride, Liu Kang said, disappointment clear in his voice. I fight to survive, Logan corrected. Everything else is noise. Then you're no different from Outworld's champions, and that makes you dangerous to us all. Liu Kang left without another word. Logan watched him go, then entered the barracks room. The mat looked uncomfortable. The whole place smelled like discipline and meditation, and everything he'd spent lifetimes avoiding. Through the window, he could see the other champions training. They moved like artists, like every strike was choreographed for maximum effectiveness and minimum wasted motion. Beautiful in its way. Logan popped his claws, studying the adamantium in the fading light. They'd gotten him through 100 wars, 1,000 fights. They'd cut through sentinels and super soldiers and gods. Mortal Kombat. Whatever that meant, whoever these fighters were, one thing was clear. He was going to have to prove himself all over again. And he was really getting tired of that. Logan woke before dawn to the sound of someone trying to kill him. His healing factor kicked in before his conscious mind registered the attack. A blade aimed for his throat, deflected by pure reflex as he rolled off the sleeping mat. His claws were out before his eyes fully opened, adamantium gleaming in the pre-dawn light. The attacker stood in the doorway. Not Liu Kang. This one wore yellow and black, a mask covering most of his face except for hollow, burning eyes. He held a kunai attached to a chain that dripped with something that definitely wasn't water. The smell hit Logan like a punch. Brimstone, smoke, the stench of the grave. "Morning to you too, bub," Logan growled, getting to his feet. "You always attack people in their sleep." "I needed to see if you were worthy," the figure said, his voice a rasp that sounded like it had been dragged through hot coals. "Raiden brings an outsider with metal claws and expects us to trust him. I trust only what I can kill." "Scorpion," Logan guessed, remembering Liu Kang's descriptions. "The Spectre." "Hanzo Hasashi," Scorpion corrected. "I was a man once, before Quan Chi murdered my family and damned my soul to the Netherrealm. Now I am vengeance given form, and you..." The kunai spun in a practiced arc. "You smell of death, but not the same death as mine." "What are you, Logan?" "Someone who doesn't appreciate wake-up calls," Logan said. But he didn't retract his claws. The air around Scorpion shimmered with heat. Not regular body temperature. This guy was literally burning from the inside. "You heal," Scorpion observed. "I cut your throat in your sleep. The wound closed in seconds. Impressive. But healing won't save you in Mortal Kombat. Our enemies have powers beyond your imagination. Try me." Scorpion moved. Not fast, impossibly fast. One moment standing in the doorway, the next he was behind Logan, kunai driving toward his kidneys. Logan's senses screamed warning just in time to twist, taking the blade across his ribs instead of through vital organs. The wound burned like acid. "Hellfire," Scorpion explained as Logan staggered. "It burns the soul as well as the flesh. Your healing will struggle against it." He wasn't lying. The cut across Logan's ribs was closing, but slower than usual. Each second felt like someone was carving the wound deeper with molten iron. His healing factor battled the mystical fire, finally winning, but at a cost. Sweat poured down his back. His breathing came harder. "Point made," Logan gasped. Then he attacked. Scorpion had speed and hellfire. Logan had over a century of experience fighting things that shouldn't exist. He feinted left, went right, drove his claws toward Scorpion's chest. The Spectre blocked with his chain, wrapped it around Logan's forearm and pulled, trying to yank him off balance. Bad move. Logan let himself be pulled, using the momentum to close distance. At point-blank range, he head-butted Scorpion hard enough to crack stone. The Spectre stumbled back, releasing the chain. Logan followed up with a spinning slash that should have gutted him. Should have. Scorpion teleported in a burst of flame. Logan's claws cut empty air. Then hellfire erupted beneath his feet. He dove aside, but not fast enough. The flames caught his left leg, and this time his healing factor barely responded. The pain was exquisite, not just burning flesh, but something deeper. Like the fire was trying to consume his soul itself. "You're strong," Scorpion said from across the room, voice grudgingly respectful. "But strength means nothing against outworld sorcery. Quan Chi will tear your mind apart. Shang Tsung will steal your soul. Shao Kahn will break your body and your spirit. The healing won't save you." Logan forced himself upright, leg already recovering but slower than he liked. "Then I'll adapt. I always do." "Will you?" Scorpion's eyes burned brighter. "I've seen Earthrealm's champions die in that arena, Logan. Good warriors, honorable warriors. They died screaming, their souls fed to Shang Tsung's hunger. You think your metal claws make you special? You're meat. We're all meat to them." Why are you telling me this? Logan asked. Trying to scare me off? Trying to prepare you. Scorpion's shoulders sagged slightly, the aggressive posture easing. Liu Kang believes in honor and noble combat. Johnny Cage thinks this is entertainment. Sonya Blade treats it like a military operation. But you've killed. I can smell it on you. Hundreds of deaths, maybe thousands. You understand what real combat means. Logan retracted his claws slowly. So, that attack was what? A test? An assessment. I needed to know if you'd fold under pressure or fight back. You fought back. That's good. Scorpion's hellfire dimmed. But you need to understand, Mortal Kombat isn't about fighting fair. It's about survival through any means necessary. The rules allow killing. They encourage it. The crowd demands blood. How bad are we talking? Last tournament, I faced Baraka of the Tarkatans. He ate 3 of his opponents alive, literally consumed their flesh while they still breathed. The crowd loved it. Scorpion's voice was flat, emotionless. I've seen warriors torn in half, spines ripped out, heads removed with bare hands. Shang Tsung calls them fatalities, finishing moves, their art to outworld. The more creative the execution, the more honor to the killer. Logan had seen some bad things. Weapon X, the Hulk on a rampage, Magneto's worst days. But eating people alive while the crowd cheered? That was a different kind of evil. These fighters you're describing, he said carefully, they all like that? Most, not all. Princess Kitana has honor. Sub-Zero follows his clan's code, but they're exceptions. Outworld champions are chosen for brutality. If you show weakness, if you hesitate to kill, Scorpion gestured at his own spectral form, you die, and death in Mortal Kombat is often permanent. No healing factor can save you if Shang Tsung claims your soul. A new voice interrupted from the doorway. Is this how Earthrealm welcomes allies, with threats and violence? Logan turned. The woman standing there wore blue and silver, twin steel fans holstered at her hips. Her face was beautiful but hard, the kind of beauty that came from being dangerous. Princess Kitana, he guessed. I wasn't threatening, Scorpion said. I was educating. By attacking him while he slept? Kitana's eyes were sharp, very educational. It worked. It could have killed him if he were less capable. She turned to Logan. I apologize for Scorpion's methods. Not all of us believe in testing allies through violence. Worked for me, Logan said honestly. Better to know what I'm facing now than get surprised in the arena. Kitana studied him, those sharp eyes cataloging everything, the healing wounds, the claws that had retracted into his hands, the feral way he held himself ready for another attack. You're not from Earthrealm, she said. It wasn't a question. Born there, just been away a while. For how long? About 200 years, give or take. Her eyebrows rose slightly. You're immortal. Hard to kill, not the same thing. In Mortal Kombat, the distinction matters. Kitana moved into the room with practiced grace, each step deliberate. I've fought in 17 tournaments across 3 realms. I've seen warriors who thought themselves invincible reduced to screaming husks. Your healing ability is impressive, Logan, but it's not enough. You're the second person to tell me that this morning, Logan said dryly. I'm starting to get a complex. Good, Kitana replied. Overconfidence kills faster than any blade. What other abilities do you possess besides healing and those claws? Enhanced senses, strength, speed, couple hundred years of combat training. Martial arts training. Street fighting mostly, bar brawls, war. I know how to hurt people efficiently. That's insufficient. Kitana's fans appeared in her hands so fast Logan barely tracked the movement. Mortal Kombat fighters train their entire lives in specific disciplines. Kung Fu, Ninjutsu. Shaolin techniques. You're a brawler facing masters of combat. That's suicide. Maybe, Logan admitted, but I'm a fast learner. You have 3 days, Kitana said flatly. That's not enough time to learn what Liu Kang spent 20 years mastering. Then I'll fight my way. Logan's claws extended again. These have gotten me through worse. Kitana moved without warning. Her fan snapped out, the bladed edge stopping an inch from Logan's throat. He hadn't even seen her move. 1 second she was 5 feet away, the next her weapon was at his jugular. Against Baraka, that would be your death, she said quietly. He's faster than you, stronger, more vicious, and he's one of the weaker Outworld champions. She pulled back, fans disappearing again. You need training, Logan. Real training. The kind that might keep you alive past the first round. No time for that, Logan said, rubbing his throat. You said it yourself, 3 days. Then we compress 3 years into 3 days. A new voice, this one belonging to Liu Kang, who'd appeared silently behind Kitana. The kid moved like a ghost. If you're serious about fighting, you train now. No breaks, no sleep. We push you until you can either keep up or collapse. I've done worse, Logan said. Have you? Liu Kang's expression was skeptical. Master Raiden believes you're necessary. I'm not convinced, so prove it. Survive training. Show me you're more than just someone who heals fast. Logan felt a familiar anger kindle in his chest. He'd spent decades proving himself to people who doubted him. The X-Men, S.H.I.E.L.D. Every team he'd ever joined looked at him and saw a liability, a weapon that might turn on them. Lead the way, kid. Liu Kang's jaw tightened at kid, but he turned without comment. Kitana and Scorpion fell in beside Logan as they headed toward the training grounds. The sun was just cresting the mountains, painting everything gold and red. The training yard was already occupied. The military guy, Jax, Logan remembered, was running drills with mechanical arms that looked like they could bench press a tank. A woman with blonde hair was practicing with some kind of energy ring that left purple trails in the air, and Johnny Cage, unmistakable in his expensive sunglasses and cocky grin, was doing stretches while arguing with someone on what looked like a futuristic phone. Everybody, Liu Kang called out, his voice carrying across the yard. We have a new champion. This is Logan. He'll be training with us. Cage looked up, grinned, and sauntered over. Fresh meat, love it. Johnny Cage, Hollywood's finest. He extended a hand. You do stunts? You got that whole dangerous loner vibe that plays great on screen. Logan stared at the hand like it might explode. I'm not an actor. Everyone's an actor, buddy. We're all playing roles. Mine's the charming hero with devastating good looks. What's yours? The guy who wants to be left alone. Oh, the brooding type. Classic. Little overdone, but if you can back it up with action, the fans eat it up. Cage leaned in conspiratorially. Word of advice? Make your first kill really memorable. Something flashy. The crowd goes wild for spectacle. Logan resisted the urge to punch him. Barely. Cage, enough, the blonde woman said, approaching with her arms crossed. Sonya Blade, Special Forces. You military? Was. Long time ago. Which branch? Army? Canadian? World War I? Sonya blinked. That's not possible. You'd be over 100 years old. 136, actually. He heals, Scorpion interjected. Show them. Logan sighed, then extended his claws. The 3 6-inch adamantium blades slid out between his knuckles with that distinctive snicked sound. Sonya's hand went to her sidearm. Cage whistled appreciatively. Jax, who'd walked over during the exchange, just stared. Those real? Jax asked. Metal's real. bone underneath. Someone thought it'd be a good idea to make me into a weapon. Logan retracted the claws. The wounds closed instantly. Been dealing with that decision ever since. Weapon X, Sonya breathed. I've seen classified files. The project was supposed to be a myth. It was real. I'm the proof. Then you're a super soldier, Jack said, respect creeping into his voice. That changes things. How much can you lift? Couple tons if I'm pushing it. Not Captain America, but more than human. And those claws cut through what? Steel? Everything I've tried. Adamantium's the hardest metal on Earth. As far as I know, anyway. Liu Kang cleared his throat. Impressive credentials. But Mortal Kombat doesn't care about your past. It only cares about results. Logan, you'll spar with each of us today. We need to understand your fighting style, your limitations, your strengths. Then we adapt our strategy accordingly. Fine by me. I'll go first, Cage volunteered, pulling off his sunglasses with a flourish. Let's see if the claws are as sharp as the attitude. They moved to the center of the training ground. The others formed a circle, watching. Logan could feel their skepticism, their doubt. Good. He'd been underestimated before. It usually ended badly for the other guy. Cage took a fighting stance, some kind of martial arts style mixed with Hollywood flash. Logan just stood there, claws retracted, waiting. You're not going to get into stance? Cage asked. Don't need one. Dude, I'm about to kick your ass and you won't even... Logan moved. Fast. Not superhuman speed, but the kind of explosive movement that came from decades of combat experience. He closed the distance in 2 steps, going for a simple gut punch. Cage blocked barely and retaliated with a kick that glowed with green energy. The strike caught Logan in the chest, and suddenly he was flying backward, hitting the ground hard enough to crack stone. Shadow energy, Cage called out, grinning. Picked it up from some monks in Tibet. Looks cool, right? Logan got up, ribs already healing. You got magic too? Just a little, enough to make my strikes hurt. Cage's hands glowed with that same green energy. Makes me more than just a pretty face. They circled each other. Logan adjusted his assessment. Cage wasn't just a cocky actor. The guy could fight. That magic punch had actually hurt, even through his healing factor. Time to stop holding back. Logan attacked again, this time with his claws extended. He went low, aiming for Cage's legs. The actor dodged with surprising grace, countered with a spinning kick that Logan ducked under, then came up with an uppercut that crackled with shadow energy. Logan caught the punch on his adamantium bones. The energy discharged against the unbreakable metal, and Cage yelped in pain. Ow! Okay, note to self, don't punch the indestructible skeleton. Logan used the moment of distraction to sweep Cage's legs out from under him. The actor hit the ground, and Logan was on him instantly, one set of claws at his throat. Dead, Logan said. In your dreams, Grandpa. Cage's leg shot up, catching Logan in the stomach with both feet, and that shadow energy. The force launched Logan backward again, giving Cage time to kip up to his feet. They went 3 more rounds. Cage was fast, creative, using that shadow energy in ways Logan couldn't predict. But Logan was relentless, and his healing factor meant he could take hits that would hospitalize normal fighters. Eventually, he wore Cage down, ending the match with claws an inch from the actor's heart. Okay, Cage gasped, hands up. You win. Damn, you don't quit. Quitting's not really my style. Sonya was next. She fought like military, efficient, brutal, no wasted movement. Her energy rings added a ranged element that gave Logan trouble. He'd close the distance, she'd blast him back. Repeat. But he adapted, learning to predict when she'd throw the rings, dodging at the last second. The match ended in a draw when they both landed simultaneous knockout blows. Jax was a problem. The cyborg arms hit like freight trains, and his military training made him almost as unpredictable as Logan. They traded blows for 15 minutes before Liu Kang called a halt, both fighters bloody and grinning despite themselves. "You can fight," Jax admitted, offering his massive mechanical hand. Logan shook it, feeling the servos whir. "You'll do?" Then came Liu Kang. The kid was different. Where the others had distinct styles, Liu Kang flowed like water, adapting to everything Logan threw at him. When Logan went high, Liu Kang went low. When Logan tried to grapple, Liu Kang slipped away like smoke. And those kicks, every single one carried force way beyond what the kid's build should allow. "You're holding back," Liu Kang said after deflecting another claw strike. "You're afraid to kill me." "I'm afraid Raiden will be pissed if I gut his favorite student," Logan corrected. "Fear has no place in Mortal Kombat." Liu Kang's hands erupted in fire, actual fire, red and gold, swirling around his fists. "Fight me for real, or don't fight at all." Logan grinned. Finally, someone who got it. He unleashed everything, every dirty trick, every ruthless technique he'd learned in a century of war. Cage had been a warm-up. Jax had been a test. This was a real fight. Liu Kang met him blow for blow. Those fire-wreathed fists scorched Logan's skin faster than he could heal. The kid's kicks broke ribs, fractured his skull, left burns that would have killed anyone else. But Logan kept coming, kept adapting, kept learning. The match ended when they both collapsed, Logan with claws at Liu Kang's throat. Liu Kang with his fist, still burning, pressed against Logan's chest, directly over his heart. "Draw!" Raiden's voice echoed across the training ground. The Thunder God stood at the edge of the circle, watching. "Well fought, both of you." Logan retracted his claws, rolling off Liu Kang. Every part of him hurt. His healing factor was working overtime, repairing damage faster than it had in years. But beneath the pain, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Respect. "You're good, kid," Logan admitted. Liu Kang sat up, the fire fading from his hands. "You're better than I expected. Crude, brutal, but effective." That a compliment? An observation? Liu Kang stood, offering his hand. Logan took it, letting the younger man pull him up. "You'll survive the first round, maybe the second. After that," he shrugged, "we'll see." "Your confidence is inspiring," Logan said dryly. "Confidence is earned through victory, not promises." Liu Kang studied him. "But you have potential. Raw, unrefined, but potential. Kitana, work with him on defense. Scorpion, teach him about mystical threats. Cage," Liu Kang smiled slightly. "Teach him how to entertain the crowd. The judges respond to showmanship." "There are judges?" Logan asked. "The Elder Gods observe every match," Raiden explained, approaching the group. "They enforce the rules, determine victor when outcome is unclear, and they appreciate artistic expression. A simple kill is acceptable, a memorable one is honored. So it's not just about winning, it's about how you win." "Precisely." Raiden's expression was grave. "Shang Tsung's champions understand this. They make art from death. If you want to truly defeat them, you must do the same." Logan looked at his claws, stained with Liu Kang's blood from the spar, already gleaming clean as his healing factor broke down the organic material. Could he make art from killing? Did he want to? Hell, he'd been doing it for over 100 years. Might as well own it. "All right," he said, "teach me. We got 3 days. Let's not waste them." The training began in earnest, and Logan started to understand what Mortal Kombat really meant. It meant going to war with style. The island materialized from mist like a fever dream given geography. Logan stood on the deck of Raiden's mystical boat, if boat was even the right word for something held together by lightning and willpower, watching as Shang Tsung's island took shape through the fog. Black beaches, obsidian cliffs, a fortress that looked like it had been carved from a single massive skull. Even from here, he could smell death. Old death, fresh death, death waiting to happen. Welcoming place, he muttered. Shang Tsung's domain reflects his soul, Kitana said beside him. She'd been quiet during the journey, but now her fans were out, held ready. Corrupt, hungry, built on the suffering of those he's consumed. The boat glided to shore without any visible means of propulsion. As they disembarked, Logan took stock of his surroundings. The beach was crowded with fighters from a dozen different realms, some human, some definitely not. He caught glimpses of warriors with bladed arms, demons with fire for eyes, armored giants that had to be 9 feet tall. Stay close to the group, Liu Kang instructed. Tournament rules prohibit violence before the opening ceremony, but accidents happen. Accidents like what? Like Baraka accidentally, gutting someone who wandered too close to the Tarkatan camp. Liu Kang gestured toward a cluster of the most horrifying creatures Logan had ever seen. Humanoid, but with mouths full of teeth and massive bone blades growing from their forearms. They're not known for their restraint. Logan's claws ached to extend. Everything about this place set his instincts screaming danger. But he'd made a promise to Raiden. 3 days of training had turned into 3 days of hell, learning to fight blind against Kenshi, surviving Scorpion's hellfire, enduring Jax's cybernetic beatdowns. He'd earned his place here. Wasn't about to lose it to pre-fight nerves. A gong echoed across the island. The sound didn't come from any visible source. It just was, vibrating through the ground and air simultaneously. The ceremony begins, Raiden said. Remember, speak only when spoken to, show no weakness, and do not, under any circumstances, accept food or drink from Shang Tsung. Why not? The last person who did spent the rest of the tournament vomiting blood, Sonya said flatly. Died in the 3rd round. His soul went straight to Shang Tsung's collection. Great. Magical poison food, just when Logan thought this tournament couldn't get weirder. They followed the crowd toward the fortress. Inside, the main hall was enormous, a throne room the size of an aircraft hangar, with pillars carved to look like screaming faces and a ceiling lost in darkness. Torches burned with green flame. The floor was polished stone that reflected everything like black glass. At the far end, Shang Tsung sat on his throne. Standing beside him was something that made Logan's healing factor kick into high gear just from proximity. Huge, 8 feet tall, layered in muscle and armor, wearing a skull-faced helmet that left only burning eyes visible. The thing radiated power like a furnace radiated heat. Shao Kahn, Kitana whispered, her voice tight. Emperor of Outworld. Be very careful around him, Logan. He's killed gods with his bare hands. The Emperor's gaze swept across the assembled fighters, and when it passed over Logan, he felt it like a physical weight. This wasn't just a warrior. This was something else entirely, something that shouldn't exist outside nightmares. Welcome, Shao Kahn's voice echoed like thunder. Welcome, champions, to the 10th Mortal Kombat tournament. 9 times has Outworld emerged victorious. 9 times has Earthrealm fallen short. Today begins the tournament that will end in Earthrealm's conquest. The Outworld fighters roared approval. The sound was deafening. Dozens of inhuman voices celebrating their realm's dominance. But first, Shao Kahn continued, we honor tradition. Each realm will present its champions. Earthrealm, step forward. Raiden moved to the center of the hall, lightning crackling around him. I present Earthrealm's defenders. Liu Kang stepped forward first. Liu Kang, Shaolin warrior, champion of Mortal Kombat. Kitana followed. Princess Kitana of Edenia, ally of Earthrealm. One by one, they introduced themselves: Sonya Blade, Jackson Briggs, Johnny Cage, who somehow made even this ceremony about his movie career, Kung Lao with his razor-edged hat, Sub-Zero, cold enough that frost formed in his footsteps, Scorpion, burning hot enough to melt the stone floor, Kenshi, the blind swordsman, Jade with her staff that hummed with power. Then it was Logan's turn. "Logan," he said simply, "also known as Wolverine." Silence, then laughter. Not from Shao Kahn, from the other Outworld champions. Logan caught glimpses of them pointing, mocking. One of the Tarkatans mimicked a howl. "Wolverine," Shang Tsung's smile was poisonous. "How appropriate. Tell me, little Wolverine, will you bite when cornered? Or simply run?" Logan's claws extended. "Want to find out now, or should I wait until the tournament?" The laughter stopped. Shang Tsung's expression darkened. "Such disrespect. You'll learn manners, outsider. I guarantee it." "Moving on," Raiden interjected, lightning flaring warningly. "These are Earthrealm's champions. We're ready to begin." "Excellent." Shao Kahn stood, and the movement felt like the ground shifting beneath Logan's feet. "Then let me introduce Outworld's finest." The Tarkatan, Baraka, stepped forward first. Up close, he was even more horrifying. His arm blades were massive, serrated, stained with old blood. His mouth opened impossibly wide, revealing rows of teeth like a shark. Baraka, general of the Tarkatan hordes, 37 tournament kills. Then came others. Reptile, who literally disappeared into the shadows. Ermac, whose body seemed to contain multiple souls, all fighting for control. Mileena, who looked almost like Kitana until she smiled, revealing Tarkatan teeth. Kano with his cybernetic eye and brutal fighting style. Quan Chi, the sorcerer whose very presence made Logan's skin crawl. Goro, a four-armed monstrosity that had to duck to fit through the doorways. 12 Outworld champions total, each one more dangerous than the last. "The rules are simple," Shao Kahn declared. "Single combat. Victory by death, submission, or opponent leaving the arena. Rounds will be determined by random selection. Fighters cannot refuse a match. The winning realm is determined when one side has no champions remaining. Or when one realm achieves 10 victories," Raiden added, "as per the ancient compact." "Indeed." Shao Kahn's smile was predatory. "Though I doubt Earthrealm will survive long enough for that to matter." Shang Tsung announced the first match. The sorcerer produced a skull from thin air. It glowed with eerie light, then spoke in a voice that sounded like grinding stone. "First match, Earthrealm's Johnny Cage versus Outworld's Kano." Cage stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. "Finally, let's get this party started." Kano emerged from the Outworld ranks, spinning a knife casually. His cybernetic eye glowed red. "Gonna carve you up, pretty boy. Sell the pieces to your fans. You couldn't afford my autograph, let alone my body parts." They moved to the center of the hall. A circle of fire erupted around them, magical boundaries to contain the fight. Logan watched, analyzing. Kano moved like a street fighter, all dirty tricks and brutal efficiency. Cage had polish, but also that shadow energy from the training sessions. "Begin!" Shao Kahn's voice echoed. Kano attacked immediately, going for Cage's eyes with the knife. Cage blocked, barely, countered with a kick that Kano absorbed and turned into a grapple. They went down hard, rolling across stone, each trying to gain advantage. Cage got it first. His hands erupted in shadow energy and he punched Kano in the face hard enough to crack the cybernetic eye. Sparks flew. Kano howled, headbutted Cage, then drove his knife into the actor's shoulder. Blood sprayed. Cage screamed, but instead of backing off, he grabbed Kano's knife hand and broke it with a sickening crack. The knife clattered away. "That's for the suit," Cage snarled. Then his fist, still glowing with power, drove into Kano's gut once, twice, 3 times. The third punch lifted Kano off his feet and sent him crashing into the fire barrier. Kano tried to get up, fell, tried again, stayed down. "Winner, Johnny Cage of Earthrealm," the skull announced. The Earthrealm champions cheered. Cage limped back to their side, Sonya immediately applying pressure to his shoulder wound. Logan caught the relief in everyone's eyes. First blood to them. Good start. "Next match," the skull intoned. "Earthrealm's Wolverine versus Outworld's Baraka." Logan's blood went cold. He'd been hoping for a warm-up match, someone human-sized. Instead, he got the 8-foot murder machine with sword arms. "Good luck," Liu Kang said quietly. "Don't try to outmuscle him. Use your speed and healing. Wear him down." Logan stepped into the circle. The flames roared up around him, cutting off escape. Across the arena, Baraka entered, his arm blades already out, dripping something viscous and green. "Fresh meat," Baraka rasped. His voice sounded like grinding metal. "I will feast on your organs while you watch." "You can try," Logan said, extending his claws. The adamantium gleamed in the firelight. "But I'm tougher than I look." Baraka studied him, those inhuman eyes cataloging every detail. Then he grinned, that horrible tooth-filled grin that promised pain. "We shall see, little Wolverine." Shao Kahn raised his hand. "Begin." Baraka charged like a freight train. No finesse, no technique, just pure savage violence aimed at tearing Logan apart. Logan's instincts took over. He dove aside, raking his claws across Baraka's side as the Tarkatan thundered past. The adamantium bit deep, drawing purple-black blood. Baraka didn't slow down. He spun, arm blades cutting the air where Logan's head had been a second before. They circled each other. Logan assessed his opponent, stronger, longer reach. Those blades looked sharp enough to cut through steel. But the Tarkatan was all offense, no defense. Every movement was committed, leaving him open for split seconds. Logan attacked low, going for the legs. Baraka blocked with one blade, countered with the other. Logan barely got his arm up in time. The blade screeched against his adamantium bones, but didn't penetrate. The impact sent him staggering. "Your metal is strong," Baraka acknowledged, "but flesh is weak." He pressed the attack, both blades working in tandem, trying to overwhelm Logan through sheer ferocity. Logan gave ground, blocking what he could, taking hits when he couldn't. The wounds healed almost instantly, but each one hurt like fire. Then Logan saw it, Baraka's pattern. High/left, low/right, overhead strike. It repeated every 4 attacks. Predictable. Logan waited for the pattern to start. High left, he blocked. Low right, he ducked. Overhead strike, he moved inside Baraka's guard and drove all 6 claws into the Tarkatan's chest. Baraka roared. His knee came up, catching Logan in the gut hard enough to crack ribs. Logan held on, twisting his claws, feeling them grind against bone and whatever passed for organs in this thing. "You die now!" Baraka brought both arm blades down on Logan's back. They should have severed his spine, should have killed him instantly. Instead, they hit adamantium. Logan's healing factor had reinforced his skeleton, making it functionally indestructible. The blades screeched off metal, unable to penetrate. Baraka's eyes widened in shock. "What are you?" "Hard to kill," Logan snarled. Then he ripped his claws sideways, opening Baraka from sternum to hip. The Tarkatan stumbled backward, purple blood pouring from the wound. He tried to raise his blades. They trembled, fell. Baraka dropped to his knees. "I will not," he coughed blood. "Submit, then you die," Logan said. Not cruelly, just fact. He stepped forward, raised his claws for the killing blow. Paused, looked at the crowd, Outworld champions watching with hungry eyes, Earthrealm warriors tense and ready. At Shang Tsung, whose smile said he was enjoying this. At Shao Kahn, whose expression was unreadable behind that skull mask. Cage had said to make it memorable, to give them a show. Fine. Logan's claws flashed out in a complex pattern Liu Kang had taught him, the Dragon's Fury Kata, modified for bladed weapons. 5 strikes in 2 seconds, surgical precision, each one targeting a vital point. When he stepped back, Baraka knelt for 1 more second, then fell apart. Not messily, cleanly, like a sculpture dismantled along perfect seams. The Tarkatan's body separated into 7 pieces that collapsed onto the stone floor with wet thuds. The hall went silent. Then Shao Kahn laughed, actually laughed, a booming sound that shook the pillars. Magnificent! The little Wolverine has fangs after all. The skull floated between them. Winner, Wolverine of Earthrealm. Logan retracted his claws and walked back to his team. Every eye in the hall followed him. He could feel the reassessment happening, not just some random outsider with metal claws. An actual threat. That was, Cage began. Brutal, Sonya finished. That was perfect, Liu Kang said, respect clear in his voice. You showed strength without cruelty, efficiency without waste. The Elder Gods will have noticed. Logan wiped Baraka's blood off his knuckles. 1 down. How many more? At this rate, Raiden's expression was cautiously optimistic. Perhaps we have a chance after all. But across the hall, Shang Tsung was watching Logan with eyes that promised terrible things. And beside him, Shao Kahn's laughter had faded into something far more dangerous. Calculation. The tournament had barely begun, and Logan had just painted a target on his back. The victories piled up through the first day like bodies in a war zone. Liu Kang dismantled Reptile with fire and precision, countering the chameleon's invisibility with pure instinct. Sonya took down Jarek in a brutal display of military efficiency that left the Black Dragon Enforcer begging for mercy. She gave him none. Kung Lao's razor hat removed Cabal's head so cleanly the speedster's body ran 3 more steps before collapsing. Sub-Zero froze Sector solid, then shattered the cyborg with a single punch. But Outworld wasn't going quietly. Ermac consumed Stryker's soul in front of everyone, the cop's screams echoing through the hall as his essence was ripped from his body. Quan Chi tortured Kai with dark magic until the younger Shaolin warrior literally couldn't continue, his mind broken. Goro's forearms proved too much for Jade. She fought valiantly but ultimately fell to the Shokin Prince's overwhelming power. By nightfall, the score stood at 7-5, Earthrealm leading but barely. The survivors retreated to their quarters, separate wings of the fortress where tournament rules prevented interference. Logan found himself in a stone room that smelled like old blood, staring at walls carved with images of previous tournaments, previous champions, most of them dead now, their souls feeding Shang Tsung's immortality. Someone knocked. Logan's claws were halfway out before he caught the scent. Kitana. "Come in," he called. The princess entered, still wearing her fighting gear but with her fans holstered. She looked tired. Not physically, she'd healed from her bout with Melina, barely escaping with a victory, but emotionally exhausted in a way Logan recognized. "Can't sleep either?" he asked. "Sleep is a luxury in Mortal Kombat," Kitana said, moving to the window. Outside, the island was dark except for scattered torches and the green glow of Shang Tsung's sorcery. Tomorrow, the real fighting begins. Today was preliminaries, feeling out opponents, testing strategies. But now, she turned to face him. Now they know what you can do, and they'll prepare accordingly. Let them, Logan said. I've faced worse than Tarkatans. Have you? Kitana's expression was serious. Baraka was their weakest general, Logan. The real threats haven't fought yet. Shao Kahn hasn't entered the arena. Neither has Shang Tsung. And there are whispers of other champions, revenants from the Nether Realm. Enhanced warriors from dimensions we've never encountered. Logan remembered the calculating look in Shao Kahn's eyes after the Baraka fight. You're saying I made myself a target. I'm saying you announced yourself as a priority threat. Shao Kahn respects strength, but he also crushes anything that challenges his dominance. Kitana moved closer, her voice dropping. You need to understand what's really happening here. This tournament isn't just about combat. It's political theater. Every match sends a message to the realms watching. What message did I send? That Earth realm has teeth. That we're not the weak realm Outworld thinks we are. That's good tactically, but dangerous personally. She paused. Shao Kahn will want to break you publicly. To prove that even your unkillable nature has limits. Been broken before, Logan said quietly. Didn't stick. This is different. Outworld doesn't just break bodies, they break spirits. I've seen it. Warriors reduced to hollow shells, their will completely shattered. Your healing factor won't save you from that. Logan studied her. You trying to scare me or prepare me? Both. Kitana's hand rested on one of her fans. I've fought in 17 tournaments, Logan. I've seen champions far stronger than you destroyed. Not killed, destroyed. There's a difference. Then why keep fighting? The question hung in the air. Kitana was silent for a long moment, staring out the window at the dark island. Because someone has to, she finally said. Because if we don't stand, realms fall. Billions of souls consumed by Outworld's hunger. I fight because the alternative is unconscionable. Noble, Logan said. Not mockingly, he understood duty even if he'd spent decades running from it. Not noble, necessary. Kitana turned back to him. You're not like the others, Logan. Liu Kang fights for honor. Johnny fights for glory. Sonya fights for duty. But you? She tilted her head. You're just trying to survive, to get home. That makes you dangerous in a different way. How so? Because you have nothing to prove. No honor to uphold, no code to maintain. You'll do whatever it takes to win. That unpredictability terrifies people like Shao Kahn. They can't control it, can't predict it. Logan's claws extended slightly, then retracted. A nervous habit. So what's your advice? Embrace it, Kitana said. Don't try to fight like Liu Kang or copy Sub-Zero's techniques. Fight like the animal they named you after. Wolverines are small but vicious. They take down prey 10 times their size through sheer ferocity and refusal to quit. That's your advantage. Thought you were here to warn me, not give a pep talk. I'm here because you remind me of someone, Kitana said softly. A warrior I knew once. Before Shao Kahn killed her and consumed her soul, she was fierce, unkillable, absolutely terrifying in combat. But she was also alone, isolated. She thought she didn't need anyone. What happened to her? Quan Chi trapped her in a binding spell. It took 17 sorcerers and 3 days of continuous magic. Her healing factor kept her alive through all of it while they slowly drained her power. She died screaming, and her soul was shredded across multiple dimensions so she could never reform. Kitana's eyes were haunted. She was the strongest fighter I've ever known, and she lost because she refused to accept help. Logan understood the message. You telling me to trust the team? I'm telling you that even Wolverines travel in pairs sometimes. You don't have to face this alone. Kitana moved toward the door, then paused. Tomorrow, you'll likely face either Goro or one of Quan Chi's revenants. Both are nearly impossible to kill through conventional means. If you need backup, if you need someone to intervene before a loss becomes a death, let us. There's no shame in survival. I'll think about it, Logan said. Kitana nodded and left. Logan listened to her footsteps fade down the corridor, then moved to the window. Below, he could see Outworld champions training in the courtyard. Even at night they prepared. Demons sparring with sorcerers, Tarkatans sharpening their arm blades on stone, Reptile practicing invisibility techniques against magical wards. They were taking him seriously now. Good. A different scent reached his nostrils, sulfur and brimstone. Logan turned to find Scorpion standing in the corner of the room. Not hiding, just present, like he'd been there the whole time. You move quiet for a dead guy, Logan said. Death teaches patience, Scorpion replied. His eyes burned behind the mask. I came to warn you. Quan Chi is planning something. Let me guess, revenge for one of his fighters losing. Worse, he's petitioning Shao Kahn to invoke an ancient rule. Trial by champion's ordeal. Scorpion's hands clenched into fists. It's a gauntlet match. One fighter against multiple opponents in succession. No rest between fights. No healing time. Designed to break even the strongest warriors. Logan's healing factor was good, but it had limits. Enough damage in quick succession could overwhelm it. Why would Shao Kahn allow that? Tournament rules allow for special challenges under specific circumstances. You killed Baraka too decisively, showed too much skill. Now Quan Chi wants to test your limits publicly. Scorpion moved closer. If Shao Kahn agrees, you'll face 5 opponents tomorrow, back to back. All of them chosen specifically to counter your abilities. Can they do that? Just change the rules. They can do whatever they want. This is their realm, their tournament. Scorpion's voice carried bitter experience. I've fought in the ordeal before, barely survived. And I was already dead. Had nothing left to lose except oblivion. What do I do? Refuse, Scorpion said immediately. Tournament law allows you to decline a champion's ordeal. You'll forfeit 1 match, but you'll survive. Logan thought about it. 1 loss wouldn't eliminate him from the tournament. Earthrealm was ahead on points. Tactically, refusing made sense, but it also made him look weak. And in a tournament where perception mattered as much as combat, weakness was death. I can't refuse, Logan said. Not after making myself a target. If I back down now, every other Outworld champion will see me as prey. Then you'll likely die, Scorpion said flatly. The ordeal is designed to be insurmountable. 5 opponents, each one stronger than Baraka, with no recovery time. Your healing factor is impressive, Logan, but it's not infinite. Got any better ideas? Scorpion was silent for a long moment. Then, there's a technique, forbidden by most martial artists because it requires sacrificing part of your humanity. It's called the Berserker state. Complete surrender to animal rage. No thought, no hesitation, just pure combat instinct. Logan knew that state. He'd lived in it for years after Weapon X, before Professor X helped him regain his mind. The beast inside that wanted only to kill, to tear, to destroy everything in reach. He'd spent decades learning to control it, to cage it behind willpower and discipline. You're saying let it loose, Logan said quietly. I'm saying survive by any means necessary. The Berserker state will let you ignore pain, fight past exhaustion, push your healing factor beyond its normal limits. You'll become unstoppable." Scorpion paused. "But you may not come back. The beast might consume you entirely." "How do you know about this?" "Because I've seen it. When Quan Chi tortured me in the Netherrealm, trying to break my will and bind me to his service, I surrendered to rage, pure, absolute fury. It saved my soul but cost me everything else. I became Scorpion, the specter of vengeance. Hanzo Hasashi died in that moment." Logan looked at his hands, at the scars between his knuckles where the claws emerged. He'd fought so hard to be more than a weapon, more than the animal Weapon X tried to make him, letting the beast out again. "I'll keep it in mind," he said. "Thanks for the warning." Scorpion nodded and faded into shadow, literally faded, his form dissolving into darkness until nothing remained but the smell of hellfire. Logan moved back to the window. Tomorrow he might face the champion's ordeal, might have to choose between maintaining his humanity and surviving. He'd made that choice before. Always chose survival. But it never got easier. The night stretched on. Logan didn't sleep, just watched the Outworld champions train and thought about how much damage 5 consecutive fights would do to his body, to his mind. Dawn came eventually. With it, the second day of Mortal Kombat, and the sound of Shao Kahn's voice echoing through the fortress. "Today we witness a champion's ordeal. Wolverine of Earthrealm has been challenged. 5 opponents, no rest. Victory or death." The crowd roared approval. Logan closed his eyes and felt the beast inside stir. It was hungry. The arena had changed overnight. Instead of the main hall, they'd moved to an outdoor coliseum carved into the island's volcanic rock. Obsidian walls rose 50 feet high, topped with spectator stands packed with creatures from a dozen realms, demons, sorcerers, warriors who'd survived previous tournaments. Even some elder gods, Logan suspected, though they appeared as shifting light rather than physical forms. The fighting pit itself was circular, maybe 60 feet across, with sand covering stone. Blood-stained sand. Fresh blood, too. Something had already died here this morning. "This is madness," Raiden said, his voice tight with controlled anger. "Shao Kahn, the ordeal is meant for war criminals and traitors. Logan has done nothing to warrant." "He killed Baraka with contemptuous ease," Shao Kahn interrupted from his throne overlooking the arena. "That demands response. Unless you believe Earthrealm's champion cannot handle a true test." The political trap was obvious. Refuse and Earthrealm looked weak. Accept, and Logan probably died. Either way, Outworld won. "I'll do it," Logan said before Raiden could respond. He stepped forward, ignoring Liu Kang's restraining hand. "But I got conditions." The crowd's chatter died. Shao Kahn leaned forward, interested. "Conditions? You dare bargain with me?" "I dare." Logan's claws extended. "I win this ordeal. Earthrealm gets 3 automatic wins toward our total. I survive 5 of your best fighters. That proves we're worth something." Shao Kahn laughed. "And when you fail? If I die, Earthrealm forfeits 2 wins from our current score. But if I survive without winning, just survive, the ordeal doesn't count against either side's total. Fair stakes for an unfair fight." The Emperor considered this. Around them, the crowd muttered. Logan could smell their bloodlust. They wanted to see him torn apart. But Shao Kahn was cunning. 3 automatic wins was a huge prize if Logan actually succeeded. "Agreed," Shao Kahn finally said, "but I choose the opponents and the order. Wouldn't have it any other way." Raiden grabbed Logan's shoulder. "This is suicide. You'll be fighting non-stop for potentially an hour. Your healing factor..." "We'll handle it," Logan finished. "Or it won't. Either way, we need those 3 wins more than we need me playing it safe." "You're thinking tactically," Liu Kang said, surprise in his voice. If you survive, we're almost guaranteed to win the tournament. Even if you lose, we only drop to 5-3, still leading. Exactly, Sonya stepped forward. And if you die, we lose one of our strongest fighters. Then you finish what I started, Logan said simply. He looked at each of them, Liu Kang, Kitana, Sonya, Jax, Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Kung Lao, warriors who'd accepted him despite being an outsider. I ain't planning to die, but if I do, make it count for something. Enough sentiment, Shao Kahn's voice boomed. To the arena, Wolverine, your first opponent awaits. Logan descended the stone steps into the fighting pit. The sand was coarse under his boots, still warm from the morning sun. He scanned the arena. No cover, no weapons, nowhere to run. Just open space designed for carnage. The gate on the opposite side opened. What emerged made Logan's healing factor kick into overdrive on pure instinct. Goro. The Shokan Prince stood 9 feet tall, 4 massive arms rippling with muscle. His skin looked like leather armor. His eyes burned with ancient hatred. He'd been fighting in Mortal Kombat for 500 years. 500 years of experience crushing Earthrealm champions. The little Wolverine, Goro rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. I will make this quick. You do not deserve prolonged suffering. Appreciate the consideration, Logan said, rolling his shoulders. His claws extended fully, 12 inches of adamantium that suddenly felt inadequate against this monster. Begin, Shao Kahn commanded. Goro charged. The ground shook with each step. Logan waited until the last possible second, then dove aside, slashing at Goro's leg as he passed. The adamantium cut deep, blood sprayed, but Goro didn't slow. He spun with surprising speed for something his size, all 4 arms moving in a coordinated attack pattern. Logan blocked 2 strikes with his claws, ducked under the 3rd, and took the 4th full in the chest. The impact launched him 15 feet backward, crashing into the arena wall hard enough to crack stone. Ribs broke, his lung punctured. Blood filled his mouth. His healing factor surged. The damage repaired in seconds, but those were seconds Goro used to close distance. Your metal bones save you from breaking, Goro observed. But do they save you from this? He grabbed Logan with 2 hands, lifted him overhead, and slammed him into the ground. The sand compressed under the force. Logan's spine bent at an angle that should have paralyzed him. More healing. More energy burned. Goro raised his other 2 fists to pulverize Logan's head. Logan drove both sets of claws up into Goro's arms. 6 blades punched through muscle and bone, erupting from the opposite side. Goro roared, actual pain, not just anger, and dropped Logan. They separated. Goro's lower arms were damaged, blood pouring from the punctures. But his upper arms were fine, and he had 2 more than Logan anyway. The math wasn't good. You fight well for prey, Goro said. I see why Baraka fell, but I am not Baraka. I am Goro, champion of Mortal Kombat for 9 consecutive tournaments. You cannot win. Don't need to win, Logan snarled. Just need to survive. He attacked again, faster this time, learning Goro's patterns. The Shokan was strong and skilled, but he'd fought the same way for centuries. Logan had fought 1,000 different ways against 1,000 different enemies. He adapted. Slash at the eyes. Goro blocked. Fake low, go high. Goro predicted it. But each exchange taught Logan something new. Goro favored his upper left hand. His lower right arm was still damaged. He turned clockwise, never counterclockwise. Patterns. Everything had patterns. Logan found an opening. He ducked under a 4-armed haymaker, came up inside Goro's guard, and drove all 6 claws into the Shokan's abdomen. Twisted. Pulled sideways. Organs spilled onto the sand. Goro stumbled backward, trying to hold his guts in with 3 hands while swinging desperately with the 4th. Logan pressed the attack, targeting knees, elbows, anywhere that would reduce the Shokan's combat effectiveness. Finally, Goro fell. The crowd went silent. "Yield," Logan said. "I don't want to kill you, just survive you." Goro's eyes burned with hatred and respect. Yield." The crowd exploded, not in approval, but shock. Goro hadn't lost in 50 years, and now this outsider, this Wolverine, had brought him down. "Remarkable," Shao Kahn's voice carried grudging admiration. "The first opponent falls, but 4 remain, and they will show no mercy." Logan retracted his claws, breathing hard. His healing factor was working overtime, repairing the damage from Goro's attacks. He'd expended maybe 30% of his energy reserves, still had 70% for 4 more fights. The math still wasn't good. The second gate opened. Quan Chi emerged, dark sorcery swirling around his pale hands like living shadow. The necromancer smiled his cold smile. "No rest for you, Wolverine. Your healing factor makes you resilient. Let's see if it makes you immune to soul magic." Logan's blood ran cold, physical damage he could heal from. But magic? That was different territory. "Begin!" Quan Chi didn't move, just gestured, and the sand beneath Logan's feet erupted in skeletal hands. They grabbed his legs, pulled him down. Logan slashed at them, the claws cut through bone, but more hands emerged. Dozens, hundreds. "The nether realm is endless," Quan Chi said conversationally. "I can summon the dead forever. They'll drag you down inch by inch until you're buried alive in corpses. Then they'll feast on your soul while your body heals eternally underground." Logan fought desperately, but for every hand he destroyed, 3 more appeared. They were up to his waist now, his chest, pulling him down into sand that had become a portal to hell itself. The beast inside him stirred, hungry, angry, wanting out. Not yet, Logan told it. Not yet. He changed tactics, stopped fighting the hands, and instead focused on Quan Chi. The sorcerer stood 30 feet away, maintaining the spell. If Logan could reach him, break his concentration. Logan lunged, claws extended, using his adamantium skeleton's weight to pull free of the grasping hands. He closed 20 feet in 2 seconds, 10 feet, 5. Quan Chi gestured again. Green fire erupted between them. Soul fire, the flames that burned beyond death. Logan hit the wall of fire at full speed. Pain. Not physical. Worse. Like every bad thing he'd ever done was igniting simultaneously. The deaths at Weapon X. The people he'd killed during his feral years. The friends he'd lost. All of it burning, consuming him from the inside. His healing factor couldn't touch it. This was spiritual damage. Logan fell to his knees, screaming. Through the pain, he heard Quan Chi's laughter, heard the crowd roaring approval, heard his teammates shouting his name. The beast inside didn't just stir now. It raged, demanded release, promised it could endure what Logan the man could not. Still, Logan fought to maintain control, to stay human, to remember who he was beneath the animal. But the soul fire kept burning. His mind was fragmenting. The pain was too much, too absolute. He had a choice: die as a man, or survive as a monster. From the stands, Scorpion's voice cut through the agony. "Embrace it!" Logan's eyes snapped open. Not brown anymore, yellow, feral, predatory. The beast was free. The sound that came from Logan's throat wasn't human. It was a roar, primal, savage, the call of something that existed before civilization taught humans to fight with honor and restraint. The soul fire still burned, still consumed his mind, but pain didn't matter anymore. Nothing mattered except ripping apart the threat in front of him. Logan moved on pure instinct. Not tactical thinking, not calculated strikes, just explosive violence channeled through adamantium claws. He hit the soulfire wall at full speed again. This time he didn't stop, didn't slow. The flames seared his soul, but the beast didn't have a soul to burn. It had only hunger and rage and the absolute refusal to die. Quan Chi's eyes widened. Impossible! Logan crashed into him like a cannonball. They went down hard, Logan's claws already moving, already cutting. The sorcerer tried to teleport. Green energy flickered, but Logan grabbed his throat with his free hand and slammed him into the ground hard enough to crater the sand. "Stop!" Quan Chi gasped. "I yield! Logan didn't hear him, didn't care. The beast knew only one language: violence. His claws rose and fell, each strike tearing through magical shields like tissue paper. Quan Chi screamed. The crowd went silent again, but this time in horror rather than shock. Because this wasn't combat anymore. This was savagery. "Logan!" Raiden's voice echoed through the arena, amplified by divine power. "Logan, stop! He yielded!" The beast paused, claws buried in Quan Chi's chest, the sorcerer barely alive beneath him. Blood, so much blood, covering everything, the smell of it filling his nostrils. Satisfying in a way Logan the man would have found horrifying. Slowly, the yellow faded from his eyes. Brown returned. Humanity crawled back behind the wheel. Logan looked down at what he'd done. Quan Chi was alive, but barely. One arm completely severed, deep lacerations across his face and torso. The sorcerer's breathing was shallow, ragged. Logan's voice was rough. "I couldn't stop." "You did stop," Kitana called from the stands. "That's what matters." Logan retracted his claws and stood. Every part of him trembled, not from exhaustion, but from the effort of caging the beast again. It wanted more, wanted to keep killing until everything that threatened him was dead. "Winner! Wolverine!" Shao Kahn's voice was different now, not mocking, wary. "2 opponents defeated, 3 remain." Medical attendants rushed to collect Quan Chi. The sorcerer would live, but he wouldn't fight again this tournament. Logan had seen to that. "Do you wish to continue?" Shao Kahn asked. "Or will you yield your remaining matches?" It was a trap. Yield now, and Logan admitted he couldn't handle the full ordeal. Continue, and he'd have to fight 3 more times with the beast, still prowling inside him, demanding to be let out again. "Keep going," Logan said. His voice was steadier than he felt. "I got 3 more in me." The 3rd gate opened. Melina slinked out, her sai spinning in her hands. She wore a mask that covered the lower half of her face, but Logan's enhanced senses caught what it hid. Tarkatan teeth, rows of them, designed for tearing flesh. "Pretty kitty," she purred. "Let's see if you taste as good as you smell." Logan's healing factor was down to maybe 50% capacity. 2 brutal fights had depleted his energy reserves more than he'd anticipated, but quitting wasn't in his vocabulary. "Begin!" Melina teleported. 1 second in front of him, the next behind, her sai driving toward his kidneys. Logan twisted. The blade scored across his ribs instead of punching through organs. He retaliated with a backhand slash that should have gutted her. She teleported again, this time above him, dropping with both sai aimed at his skull. Logan rolled aside, came up slashing, caught nothing but air. "Too slow." Melina's laugh was manic. "Can't kill what you can't catch." She was right. Logan was strong, skilled, but teleportation gave her an overwhelming advantage. Every attack he made hit empty space. Every counter came from an unexpected angle. His back was shredded. His legs were punctured in a dozen places. His healing factor struggled to keep up, each repair taking longer than the last. The beast stirred again, wanted out, promised it could track her, predict her movements through instinct rather than thought. Logan shoved it down. Not again. Not yet. He could win this without surrendering control. But how? How do you fight an enemy who teleports? Liu Kang's training echoed in his mind. Sometimes the best defense is no defense at all. Accept the hit. Use the moment of contact to strike back. Logan stopped dodging. Melina appeared behind him, Sai driving toward his spine. Logan didn't move. Let the blade punch through his back, through his lung, emerge from his chest in a spray of blood. And in that split second, while Melina was committed to the strike, Logan drove his elbow backward into her face. The impact shattered her mask, shattered her jaw. Those Tarkatan teeth went flying. Melina stumbled back, making horrible gurgling sounds. Logan turned, ripped the sai from his own chest, and threw it. The blade caught Melina in the shoulder, pinned her to the arena wall. She thrashed, trying to teleport, but the sai was enchanted, outworld magic designed to bind. Logan approached slowly, each step deliberate. Melina's eyes were wide with fear now. The predator had become prey. "Yield," Logan said. Melina spat blood. "Never." "Then die." But even as he raised his claws, Logan hesitated. Melina was dangerous, crazy, but she was also trapped and helpless. Killing her now would be execution, not combat. The beast inside screamed at him to finish it, to remove the threat permanently. But Logan the man held on. "I'm giving you one more chance," he said. "Yield, or I end this." Melina looked into his eyes, saw the internal struggle, saw the man fighting the monster. After a long moment, she nodded. "I yield." Logan retracted his claws and stepped back. The crowd booed. They'd wanted to see death. But Shao Kahn raised his hand for silence. Mercy from a warrior of Earthrealm. Interesting. The Emperor's tone was unreadable. But the ordeal continues. 2 opponents remain. Logan was running on fumes now. 3 fights in maybe 30 minutes. His healing factor was down to 20% capacity. Every wound took minutes to close instead of seconds. His hands trembled from exhaustion. The 4th gate opened. Ermac floated out, multiple souls bound into one body, their voices speaking in discordant harmony. "We are many. You are one. This battle is already decided. Begin." Ermac didn't physically attack, just gestured, and Logan felt invisible hands grabbing him. Telekinetic force lifting him off his feet, squeezing, crushing. His ribs creaked, his spine bent. The air was forced from his lungs. "We will break you slowly," the souls intoned. "Take our time. You will beg for death before we grant it." Logan couldn't breathe, couldn't move. The telekinetic grip was absolute. His vision started to tunnel, darkness creeping in from the edges. The beast didn't ask permission this time. It just surged forward, taking control. Logan's roar shattered Ermac's concentration. The telekinetic grip faltered for just a second, enough for Logan to hit the ground. He charged on all fours like an actual animal, covering the distance between them in a blur of motion. Ermac tried to grab him again with telekinesis. Logan was already inside the effective range. His claws found flesh, or whatever passed for flesh, in a body made of multiple souls. He drove deep, twisted, and felt something fundamental tear. Ermac screamed with 100 voices, "Stop! We yield!" The beast didn't care about yielding. It ripped and tore, trying to destroy the threat completely. But Logan, the man, the human consciousness, fought his way back to control with superhuman effort. "Enough," he growled. To himself or the beast, he wasn't sure. "Enough!" His claws retracted. Ermac collapsed, the souls that comprised him flickering like dying flames. They'd survive, but the entity called Ermac wouldn't exist for months while they reconstituted. Logan stood there, breathing hard. covered in blood, his own and his opponent's. 4 down, 1 to go. But he had nothing left. His healing factor was barely functioning. Every part of him hurt. The beast was fully awake now, prowling just beneath his consciousness, demanding to be let out permanently. "One opponent remains," Shao Kahn announced, "and I think it's time I showed Earthrealm what true power means." The Emperor stood, descended from his throne, walked into the arena. No, not walked, strode. Each step radiating divine authority, reality itself bending around him. This wasn't just a warrior. This was a god-king who'd conquered 1,000 realms, who'd personally killed hundreds of champions. Logan's healing factor kicked into emergency mode, trying to prepare his body for what was coming. It wasn't enough. Nothing was enough for this. "I will not kill you quickly," Shao Kahn said, his voice like thunder. "I will break every bone in your body, tear every muscle, shatter your spirit, and when you're begging for death, when you've surrendered everything that makes you who you are, then I'll let you live. A warning to anyone else who challenges Outworld." Logan extended his claws. They trembled. "Come on then." Shao Kahn didn't say begin, didn't wait for ceremony, just attacked. The first punch broke Logan's jaw. The second caved in his chest. The third put him through the arena wall. Logan tried to fight back. His claws found flesh, drew blood, but it was like fighting a hurricane. Shao Kahn was everywhere, overwhelming, absolutely merciless. Logan's spine broke, his legs bent backward, his arms were twisted until joints dislocated. Each injury his healing factor struggled to repair, while Shao Kahn inflicted 3 more. The beast inside was gibbering now, terrified, all its rage meaningless against this absolute power. "Do you yield?" Shao Kahn asked, holding Logan by the throat. "Speak, if you still can." Logan couldn't speak. His throat was crushed, but he managed to shake his head. "No. Admirable, foolish, but admirable." Shao Kahn raised his fist for a killing blow. Around the arena, the Earthrealm champions were shouting, trying to intervene. But tournament rules were absolute. No interference during an ordeal. The fist came down. Lightning intercepted it. Raiden materialized between Shao Kahn and Logan, divine electricity crackling around him. "Enough! He cannot continue. I invoke the right of champion's protection." "He hasn't yielded," Shao Kahn countered. "He's unconscious. The ordeal is over." They stood there, 2 divine beings, reality warping around their confrontation. For a moment, Logan thought they'd actually fight, thought the tournament would end right here in apocalyptic violence. Then Shao Kahn laughed. "Very well, the ordeal ends. Wolverine survived 4 opponents. That earns Earthrealm." He paused, calculating. 2 automatic wins. Not the 3 he would have gained by defeating me, but still significant. Logan's consciousness was fading. Through the haze of pain, he heard the crowd roaring, heard his teammates rushing to him, felt hands, Kitana's, Sonya's, Liu Kang's, lifting him carefully. "You did it," Liu Kang whispered. "You actually did it." "Did what?" Logan managed. "Survived. That's all you needed to do. And you survived." Logan let darkness take him. Before he faded completely, one thought surfaced. The beast had stayed caged. Barely. But it had stayed caged. He was still human. For now. Logan woke to the smell of incense and the sound of Liu Kang meditating. His healing factor had finally caught up. The catastrophic damage from Shao Kahn, broken spine, shattered ribs, pulverized organs, had all repaired. But the energy cost had been massive. He felt hollowed out, like his body had cannibalized itself to survive. "How long?" he rasped. Liu Kang's eyes opened. 36 hours. You missed an entire day of matches." "What's the score?" 9-7, Earthrealm leading, but we've lost Kung Lao, Jade, and Striker. Johnny's injured but stable. Sub-Zero is exhausted from fighting Noob Saibot. Liu Kang poured water from a pitcher, offered it. Your 2 automatic wins are the only reason we're still ahead. Logan drank deeply, his throat raw. Who's left on Outworld's side? Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, Kintaro, Noob Saibot, and Rain, 5 of their strongest. We have you, me, Kitana, Sonya, Jax, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Johnny. 8 of us, but many are injured. So we're hanging on by our fingernails. Yes, Liu Kang's expression was troubled. The Tournament Council has called for a day of rest. Both sides need recovery time, but tomorrow the final matches begin. Winner takes all. Logan sat up slowly, testing his body. Everything worked, but barely. Another fight like the ordeal would probably kill him, permanently this time, his healing factor completely depleted. There's something else, Liu Kang said carefully. During your ordeal, you changed. Your eyes went yellow. Your fighting style became purely animalistic. What happened? Logan had hoped no one noticed. It's called the Berserker state. I give up control, let my animal instincts take over. Makes me harder to kill, easier to fight. But it's dangerous. Dangerous how? Dangerous like I might not come back, might stay the animal forever. Logan met Liu Kang's eyes. I've spent decades learning to control that part of me. Using it in the ordeal nearly cost me everything I've built. But it saved your life. Yeah, it did. They sat in silence for a moment. Outside, Logan could hear the island settling into uneasy peace. Tournament truce meant no killing, but that didn't stop the threats, the posturing, the psychological warfare. Liu, Logan said, if something happens tomorrow, if I go full berserker and don't come back, you need to put me down. What? You heard me? If I lose control completely, if I become just the beast, I'm a danger to everyone. Earthrealm, Outworld, doesn't matter. I'll kill indiscriminately. Logan's hands clenched. Promise me, you're fast enough, skilled enough. You could do it. Liu Kang was quiet for a long time. I cannot promise to kill an ally. Then promise to stop me, whatever it takes. That I can promise. Liu Kang stood, but I don't think it'll come to that. I've seen warriors lose themselves to rage, Logan. You fought your way back. That takes strength most don't have. Or desperation. Perhaps both. Liu Kang moved toward the door. Get more rest. Tomorrow you'll likely face Shang Tsung or Kintaro. Both will target your healing factor specifically now that they've seen its limits. After Liu Kang left, Logan lay back down. His body screamed for more sleep, but his mind wouldn't shut off. He kept replaying the ordeal, the moment he'd let the beast out. The feeling of losing control, the absolute terror of not knowing if he'd come back. Someone knocked, softer than Liu Kang's controlled taps. Logan recognized the pattern. Come in, Kitana. She entered carrying a tray with food, actual food this time, not the mystical sustenance Raiden provided. Meat, bread, water. Simple, but real. Thought you might be hungry, she said. Starving. Logan sat up and accepted the tray. The meat was some kind of game bird, probably from Outworld's forests. It tasted different from anything on Earth, but his body recognized protein and demanded more. Kitana sat while he ate. You scared us. When Shao Kahn was beating you, when your eyes went yellow, we thought we'd lost you to the rage. Almost did. But you didn't. You came back. She paused. I've seen many warriors fall to their darker natures in Mortal Kombat. The tournament brings out the worst in people. But you fought it. That matters. Does it? Logan asked bitterly. I still used it. Still let the beast out to survive. What's the difference between using it tactically and losing myself to it completely? Control, Kitana said simply. You chose when to let it out and when to pull it back. That's not surrender. That's adaptation. Logan wanted to believe her, but he'd seen what he'd done to Quan Chi, the savage brutality of it. That wasn't human. That wasn't who he wanted to be. There's something you need to know, Kitana said, her voice dropping. While you were unconscious, Shang Tsung approached Raiden with an offer, a final match to determine the tournament, single combat. Their champion against ours. Let me guess, they want me. No, they specifically requested Liu Kang, but Raiden is considering sending you instead. Logan's eyes narrowed. Why? Because Shang Tsung has spent decades studying Liu Kang, knows his techniques, his limitations, his fighting style. But you, Kitana smiled slightly, you're unpredictable. Your berserker state, your healing factor, your adamantium claws. Shang Tsung can't prepare for what he doesn't understand. So I'm a tactical wild card. You're our best chance, if you're recovered enough to fight. Logan tested his body again. The exhaustion was still there, but his healing factor was slowly rebuilding his energy reserves. Give it another 12 hours, he'd be back to maybe 70% capacity. Not full strength, but enough to fight. Who's their champion? He asked. Unknown. The challenge was vague. Our finest warrior against yours. It could be Shang Tsung himself, could be Shao Kahn, could be someone else entirely, a secret weapon they've held back. Fantastic. Kitana stood to leave, then paused. Logan, whatever happens tomorrow, know that you've already proven yourself. To us, to Earthrealm, you don't have to win to be worthy. But winning would help. Yes, she admitted, it would help immensely. After she left, Logan finished eating and tried to meditate like Liu Kang had taught him. Clear the mind, find center, control the beast through discipline rather than force. It didn't work. The beast was too active now, too aware. It paced inside his skull like a caged animal, remembering the freedom of the ordeal, wanting more. A different knock, aggressive, impatient. Logan knew who it was before opening the door. Cage. Wolverine. The actor looked rough, bandages across his ribs, one arm in a sling, but his grin was intact. Heard you're the chosen one for the final match. Wanted to give you the secret to success. This gonna be more Hollywood advice? Nah, this is genuine. Cage's smile faded. I fight for glory, recognition, all that superficial crap. But you fight to survive. That's purer, more honest. When you're in that arena tomorrow, don't think about winning or losing. Think about surviving one more second, then another, then another. That's how you beat impossible odds. Thought you said winning was everything. Winning is the goal, survival is the method. Cage clapped Logan's shoulder with his good arm. Also, if you get a chance, make it flashy. The Elder Gods love showmanship, and we could use every advantage. I'll try to remember that while someone's trying to kill me. That's the spirit, Cage's grin returned. You got this, old man. I've been watching you. You're too stubborn to die. After Cage left, Logan managed a few hours of actual sleep. Dreamless for once, his body finishing its repairs while his mind finally rested. He woke to dawn light and the sound of the tournament gong. The final day had begun. Logan dressed in his tournament gear, simple fighting clothes provided by Raiden, reinforced with minor protective enchantments. His claws extended and retracted smoothly. His healing factor had climbed back to about 75% capacity. Not perfect, but enough. The Earthrealm champions were already assembled when he emerged. They stood in a loose circle, each wearing their battle gear, each bearing the scars of the tournament. Warriors who'd fought through hell together. Raiden appeared in a flash of lightning. The challenge has been accepted. Logan, you will represent Earthrealm in the final match. Victory secures our realm. Defeat. He didn't finish. Didn't need to. Who am I fighting? Logan asked. We don't know yet. Shang Tsung will reveal his champion when the match begins. Raiden's expression was grave. But be prepared for anything. Outworld plays to win, and they've had all night to prepare something unexpected. They moved to the main arena as a group. The stands were packed, every fighter from both sides, plus spectators from neutral realms. The Elder Gods manifested as pillars of light around the arena's perimeter. This was it, the match that would determine everything. Logan entered the fighting pit. The sand was fresh, unmarked by blood, a clean slate. He took position in the center, extended his claws, and waited. Across the arena, the Outworld gate opened. Shang Tsung stepped out, but he wasn't alone. Behind him came a figure Logan recognized from briefings, but had never seen fight. Kintaro, worse than Goro. The Shokan's replacement general, enhanced with tiger bloodlines. Striped fur covered muscles that made Goro look weak. Forearms ending in claws that glowed with magical energy. Eyes that burned with predatory intelligence. And he was looking at Logan like prey. Your champion, Shang Tsung announced, is Kintaro of the Shokan, enhanced by Outworld sorcery, trained by Shao Kahn personally. He has never lost a match, never even been wounded in combat. Kintaro roared, a sound that was half tiger, half something else. The arena shook. Logan's instincts screamed danger at a volume he'd rarely experienced. And your secret weapon, Raiden called out. Shang Tsung smiled. Kintaro has been given a specific enchantment, one that negates healing abilities. Every wound Logan takes will not heal. Every injury will be permanent. By the end of this match, he'll either be dead or wish he was. The bottom dropped out of Logan's stomach. No healing factor. Fighting Kintaro, maybe the strongest opponent he'd faced yet, without his primary advantage. From the stands, Liu Kang shouted, "That's illegal. Tournament rules don't allow magical interference." "Tournament rules allow any enhancement a fighter brings to the arena," Shao Kahn countered. Kintaro's enchantment is part of his preparation, just as Wolverine's metal claws are part of his. Raiden looked ready to argue, but Logan held up a hand. "It's fine. I'll fight him anyway." "Logan, without your healing." "I know." Logan rolled his shoulders, feeling the weight of what he'd agreed to. "But I've fought worse odds." Had he? He wasn't sure, but backing down now wasn't an option. "Begin," Shao Kahn commanded. Kintaro moved like lightning wrapped in muscle. 1 second across the arena, the next he was on Logan, all four clawed hands moving in synchronized violence. Logan blocked what he could, dodged the rest, but one claw got through, raked across his chest, drawing blood. The wound didn't heal. Logan looked down at the 4 parallel cuts, watching blood flow freely. No regeneration, no rapid recovery, just injury. Exactly like a normal human would experience. The beast inside him howled, and for once, Logan agreed with it. If he was going to survive this, he'd need every advantage, every trick, every ounce of savage instinct he possessed. Time to stop holding back, time to show them what Wolverine really meant. Logan's world narrowed to blood and pain, and the absolutely necessity of not dying. Kintaro's next strike came high. Logan ducked under it, drove his claws into the Shokan's side. The adamantium punched through fur and muscle, but Kintaro barely flinched. His counterattack, an elbow from one of his upper arms, caught Logan in the temple hard enough to crack his skull. The wound didn't heal. Blood poured down Logan's face, obscuring his vision. His head throbbed with agony that normally would have faded in seconds. Now it just accumulated, building with every hit he took. "You're mortal now," Kintaro growled, his voice a bestial rumble. "Just meat and bone. How does it feel, little Wolverine?" Logan spat blood. Familiar. Because it was. Before Weapon X, before the adamantium, he'd fought like this. Every injury permanent. Every mistake potentially fatal. He'd survived a century of wars that way. The healing factor had made him careless, made him forget what real combat felt like. Now he remembered. He attacked with surgical precision. No wasted movement. Every strike targeted vital areas, eyes, throat, joints. Kintaro was stronger, but Logan was faster, more experienced, and absolutely desperate. His claws found Kintaro's knee. The Shokan stumbled. Logan pressed the advantage, going for the throat. Kintaro caught him with two hands, lifted him overhead, and slammed him into the ground hard enough to crack stone. Ribs broke. Something in Logan's spine shifted wrong. Agony exploded through his nervous system, and the injuries didn't heal. Logan forced himself up. His body was failing, broken bones grinding together. Internal bleeding that would eventually kill him if this fight lasted long enough. He had minutes, maybe less, before accumulated damage rendered him unconscious. The beast inside was screaming now. Not with rage, with fear. It understood better than Logan's conscious mind. They were dying, slowly, painfully, inevitably. "Let me out," it whispered. "Let me save us." Logan hesitated. The berserker state had saved him during the ordeal, but that was with his healing factor active. Without regeneration, going full animal might mean bleeding out while lost to instinct. Kintaro charged again. Logan sidestepped, but slower this time. His damaged spine wasn't responding right. A claw caught his shoulder, tore through muscle down to bone. Logan's left arm went numb. 5 claws now, not 6. His left hand couldn't make a fist. "You're weakening," Kintaro observed. "This will be over soon." From the stands, Logan heard his teammates shouting. Encouragement, tactics, desperation. But their voices seemed distant, unimportant compared to the roaring in his ears. He was going to lose, going to die, and Earthrealm would fall with him. Unless... "Damn it," Logan muttered. Then to the beast, "All right, we do this your way. But you listen to me. We come back. We don't stay lost. Understood?" The beast's only answer was a wave of savage joy. Logan stopped fighting it, stopped trying to maintain control, just let go. His eyes shifted yellow, his posture changed, dropping into something four-legged, feral. The pain didn't disappear, but it stopped mattering, became just data, information to use rather than sensations to endure. The crowd went silent. They'd seen this transformation during the ordeal. Now they watched it again, but this time without healing factor to sustain it. This was pure suicidal desperation. Kintaro's eyes narrowed. "What are you?" Logan attacked. Not like a martial artist, like a predator. He went low, targeting Kintaro's already damaged knee with all 5 functioning claws. The joint gave way with a wet pop. Kintaro stumbled, and Logan was already moving, already climbing the Shokan's massive body like prey scaling a tree to escape. Except Logan wasn't escaping. He was hunting. His claws found Kintaro's throat. Once, twice, 3 times, each strike surgical, precise despite the animal fury driving them. The Shokan tried to grab him, but Logan moved on pure instinct, always one step ahead of those massive hands. Blood sprayed, Kintaro's blood, pouring from severed arteries. The Shokan crashed to his knees, all 4 hands going to his throat, trying to stem the hemorrhaging. Logan landed in a crouch, breathing hard. His body was wreckage, broken bones, torn muscles, blood loss that would have killed a normal human already. But the beast kept him conscious, kept him fighting through pure force of will. Kintaro fell forward, hit the sand, didn't move. The arena exploded in noise, Earthrealm champions cheering, Outworld fighters roaring denial, the Elder Gods manifesting more fully, their light intensifying as they deliberated. Logan tried to stand. His legs gave out. He collapsed beside Kintaro's corpse, his berserker state finally fading as the threat disappeared. Humanity returned to his eyes just in time to feel everything, the accumulated agony of a dozen mortal wounds, all hitting at once. He gasped. I can't. Winner, Wolverine of Earthrealm, the announcement echoed. Earthrealm achieves victory. The tournament is concluded. Logan's vision tunneled. He was aware of people rushing toward him, Raiden, Liu Kang, Kitana. Aware of Raiden's hands glowing with divine energy, trying to stabilize him. Aware of Shao Kahn roaring fury at the loss. But mostly he was aware of the darkness creeping in from all sides. Stay with us, Raiden commanded. Logan, stay conscious. I can heal you, but you must remain awake. Tired, Logan mumbled. So tired. I know, but you won. Earthrealm is saved. You did it. The words meant something. Logan thought they should mean more, but consciousness was slipping away like water through his fingers. The last thing he heard was Liu Kang's voice. He's the toughest son of a bitch I've ever met. If anyone can survive this, it's him. Then darkness took him, and Logan knew nothing at all. Logan woke to blue sky. Not green, not the sickly, poisonous atmosphere of Outworld. Actual blue sky with white clouds drifting lazily overhead. The air smelled clean, forest and rain and growing things. Earth. He was back on Earth. Easy, Raiden's voice said from somewhere nearby. Your body has been through tremendous trauma. Even with divine healing, full recovery will take time. Logan tried to sit up. Every muscle screamed protest, but they worked. Slowly, painfully, he managed to prop himself against what felt like a stone wall. They were in some kind of courtyard, the Wushu Academy, he realized. Back where this whole nightmare had started. How long? He asked, his voice rough. 3 days since the tournament ended. You've been unconscious for most of it. Raiden moved into view, his expression grave but relieved. Your injuries were extensive. Without healing factor to sustain you, the damage from Kintaro nearly killed you. I've spent the last 72 hours channeling divine energy to repair what I could. Logan looked down at himself. Bandages covered most of his torso, arms, and one leg. But beneath them, he could feel his healing factor working again, slowly, weakly, but present. The anti-healing enchantment had faded when Kintaro died. The others? Alive, recovering. Johnny Cage's shoulder required surgery. Sub-Zero is dealing with spiritual exhaustion from his battle with Noob Saibot. Kitana has returned to Edenia to report the outcome, but everyone survived. Raiden paused. Because of you. Because of all of us, Logan corrected. I just fought the last match. You fought 5 matches in 1 day, survived the champion's ordeal, defeated Outworld's strongest warrior without your primary ability. Logan, what you accomplished. Raiden shook his head. The Elder Gods are calling it one of the greatest displays of warrior spirit in tournament history. Great. Can they send me home now? Yes. Raiden's expression softened. I made you a promise. When the tournament ended, I would return you to your realm. I intend to honor that. Logan felt a complicated mix of emotions. Relief. He'd be leaving this insane dimension of magic and combat tournaments, but also something else. Regret, maybe. He'd fought alongside these warriors, bled with them, earned their respect and given his in return. Before you go, Raiden continued, the others wanted to say goodbye. As if summoned, the courtyard filled with fighters. Liu Kang approached first. Moving with his characteristic grace despite visible exhaustion, he offered his hand. Logan took it. You were right, Liu Kang said, about fighting your own way. I doubted you could adapt to Mortal Kombat's traditions. You proved me wrong. You were right too, Logan replied, about honor mattering. I could have killed Mileena when she was helpless. Chose not to. That decision probably saved me in the final match. The Elder Gods rewarded mercy. Perhaps we both learned something. Liu Kang smiled slightly. If you ever return to this realm, know that you have allies here, brothers in arms. Sonya was next. You fight like special forces, she said, which from her was high praise. No nonsense, no showboating. Just get the job done, I respect that. You're not half bad yourself, Blade. For someone without claws. Johnny Cage grinned despite his injuries. Dude, you were amazing. That Berserker thing. Box office gold. If you ever want to do a biopic, I know some producers. Cage, Logan interrupted. Shut up. Right, shutting up. But the actor's grin didn't fade. Seriously though, you're one tough bastard. Don't let anyone tell you different. Jax's mechanical handshake nearly crushed Logan's fingers. You ever want to join Special Forces, look me up. We could use someone with your skill set. I'm retired from teamwork, Logan said. That's what they all say, Jax replied, until they're not. Scorpion appeared from shadow, as was his way. You mastered the Berserker state. That's rare. Most warriors who surrender to rage never return. But you did. Twice. The Spectre's burning eyes met Logan's. You're stronger than you know, Logan. Remember that. Thanks for the advice. During the ordeal. Might have died without it. We're even then. You fought with honor. For a realm not your own. That deserves respect. Scorpion bowed slightly, a gesture Logan understood was significant. Then he faded back into shadow. Kitana was last. She carried something wrapped in silk. The Elder Gods wanted you to have this, she said, unwrapping the fabric to reveal a small crystalline object that pulsed with inner light. It's a realm crystal, attuned to Earth realm, but modified to connect to your specific dimensional signature. What's it do? If you ever need to return here, to Mortal Kombat, to Outworld, to any realm in our dimensional cluster, break the crystal. It'll open a portal directly to the last place you visited in our reality. A one-time escape route, or entrance, depending on circumstance. Logan took the crystal carefully. It was warm, almost alive. Why would I need to come back? You wouldn't. Hopefully. Kitana's expression turned serious. But Outworld doesn't forget. You humiliated Shao Kahn, killed his champions, ended his 9-tournament winning streak. He holds grudges that last centuries. If he ever finds a way into your realm, if he sends assassins or sorcerers, she tapped the crystal. You'll have a way to contact us, to call for help. Thought the tournament settled things. We won. Earthrealm is safe. For now, for 10 years minimum, according to tournament law. But after that, Kitana shrugged. Shao Kahn is patient and vengeful. Just be careful, Logan. You've made powerful enemies. Story of my life, Logan said, pocketing the crystal. But thanks for everything. For training me, fighting beside me, not letting me get killed. You're welcome. Kitana surprised him by pulling him into a brief embrace. Stay alive, Wolverine. The realms could use more warriors like you. After the goodbyes, Raiden led Logan to an open area of the courtyard. The Thunder God's hands crackled with electricity, building power. This will feel strange, Raiden warned. Dimensional travel always does. Try not to resist the transition. Just send me back to Madripoor, that bar where this started. Already calculated the coordinates. Lightning began to swirl around them, forming a vortex. Logan, thank you. For fighting when you didn't have to, for saving a realm that wasn't yours. History will remember what you did here. I don't care about history, Logan said honestly. I just wanted to survive. And you did. That alone is worthy of legend. The lightning intensified. Reality bent. Logan felt himself being pulled apart and reassembled, his consciousness stretched across dimensional barriers. For a moment, he existed everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Then he was standing in the ruined bar in Madripoor, the same bar where he'd been drinking 3 weeks ago. Or was it 3 days? Time was weird between dimensions. The mercenaries he'd been fighting were long gone. The portal damage had been cordoned off by local authorities, but the yellow tape was old, weathered. Maybe time moved differently. Maybe he'd been gone longer than he thought. Logan looked at his hands. The scars from Kintaro's claws were still visible, faint lines that his healing factor hadn't quite erased. Proof it had all been real. The tournament, the battles, the moment he'd looked death in the face and refused to blink. His pocket felt heavy. The realm crystal pulsed gently against his thigh, a reminder that Mortal Kombat was still out there. Still waiting, maybe, for the day when he might need to return. Logan walked out of the ruined bar into Madripoor's neon-lit streets. The city hadn't changed. The people hadn't changed. But he had. Fighting in Mortal Kombat had reminded him of something he'd forgotten during his years with the X-Men, during his attempts to be civilized. He was a warrior, always had been, always would be. The beast inside wasn't something to suppress or fear. It was part of him, a tool to use when necessary. The key was control, balance between man and animal. He'd found that balance in Outworld's blood-soaked arenas, found it while fighting gods and monsters, found it while dying and refusing to stay dead. Somewhere across dimensional barriers, in a realm where magic was real and combat determined the fate of billions, his name had become legend. Wolverine, the unkillable fighter who'd saved Earthrealm when no one expected him to survive. But here in Madripoor, he was just Logan, a guy who needed a drink and a quiet place to process what the hell had just happened to his life. He found another bar, ordered whiskey, drank slowly. The realm crystal pulsed one more time, then went quiet. Logan smiled despite himself. He'd survived Mortal Kombat, survived Shao Kahn, survived everything Outworld could throw at him. Whatever came next, Sentinels, Apocalypse, or interdimensional God Emperors, he'd survived that too, because that's what Wolverine did. He survived. The tournament's echoes would reverberate across dimensions for years to come. In Outworld, Shao Kahn raged for 7 days and nights, his fury shaking the realm's foundations. He'd been so close, one more tournament victory, and Earthrealm would have fallen under his dominion. Instead, an outsider with metal claws had torn through his champions and denied him his prize. The Emperor retreated to his war rooms, already plotting the next 10 years, already preparing for the tournament that would come again. Shang Tsung, wounded and humiliated by his loss to the Berserker warrior, delved deeper into dark sorcery. Somewhere in the Netherrealm, he researched dimensional travel. If Wolverine could cross between realms, so could Outworld's forces. The compact of Mortal Kombat prevented direct invasion, but there were loopholes, always loopholes. In Earthrealm, the victory was celebrated. Raiden spoke to the Elder Gods, requesting additional protections for the realm now that they'd earned a reprieve. The surviving champions returned to their lives, Liu Kang to the Wushu Academy, Sonya and Jax to Special Forces, Johnny Cage to Hollywood with stories no one would believe. But they all remembered the warrior who'd appeared from nowhere and changed everything. The one called Wolverine, whose savagery had been matched only by his refusal to quit. They trained harder now, knowing that in 10 years the tournament would come again. And next time they might not have an unkillable fighter with adamantium claws to save them. For Logan, Mortal Kombat became a chapter in a long life full of impossible battles. He kept the realm crystal hidden, checking it occasionally to make sure it still pulsed with power. It did. A connection to warriors he'd never expected to respect, to a dimension he'd never expected to survive. Sometimes, in quiet moments, he wondered if he'd made a difference. If saving one realm from conquest mattered in the grand scheme of multiversal chaos. Then he'd remember Liu Kang's words about 6 billion souls, about civilizations that would have been enslaved or destroyed. Yeah, it mattered. The beast inside him had changed too. No longer something to fear and cage, but something to work with. A tool, a weapon, a part of himself he'd finally accepted. Mortal Kombat had taught him that balance, not through meditation or philosophy, but through blood and survival and the absolute necessity of embracing every part of what he was. He was Wolverine, man and animal, survivor and warrior, a legend in dimensions he'd never see again, and just Logan in the one he called home. Months later, when Magneto attacked New York and the X-Men called for help, Logan answered. He fought with the precision Liu Kang had taught him, the showmanship Cage had encouraged, the ruthless efficiency Sonya had exemplified. His teammates noticed the difference. Wolverine was sharper now, more controlled, somehow more dangerous than before. "Where'd you go?" Cyclops asked after the battle. "You disappeared for weeks. We looked everywhere." Logan just smiled. "Took a trip, fought in a tournament. Won." "What kind of tournament?" "The kind where losing means your whole world gets conquered." Cyclops stared at him. "You're joking." "Nope." Logan walked away, leaving the X-Men's leader confused and frustrated. Some stories couldn't be explained, some battles couldn't be shared. The realm crystal stayed in his pocket, a secret between dimensions. And in Outworld, Shao Kahn's servants whispered the name that had become a curse among their ranks. Wolverine. The beast who denied their emperor, the warrior who couldn't be killed. 10 years would pass, the tournament would come again. And maybe, just maybe, Logan would return to fight once more in Mortal Kombat's brutal arenas. But that was a story for another time. For now, he'd earned his peace, earned the right to just be Logan for a while, at least until the next impossible threat appeared, until the next time survival demanded he become something more than human, until the realm crystal pulsed with urgency and warriors from another dimension called for the Wolverine's claws one more time. Because in the end, legends never truly rest. They just wait between battles, healing and preparing for whatever comes next. And Logan had always been very good at survival. May the Force be with you. More stories await.